Okay, so where are we going on the web then? And there's some prizes to be won as well. If you've ever been to these, there is always the Dairy Milk Chocolate Freddo. They've gone up, they're 15p now, can you believe these? When we started, they were 10p. They're the big prizes, and the little prizes are the lollipops. So I might be asking you a few questions as we go along. Just, I think you did well last time, didn't you?
2 prizes.
Yeah, 2 prizes. Fantastic. Okay, first prize is, who can tell me who this guy is?
Johnny Green.
Who said that?
In 5 years.
Milk Chocolate Freddy Freddo. Arthur C. Clarke. Who's Arthur C. Clarke and why does he matter tonight?
Sci-fi writer.
Sci-fi writer,
We all came in
visionary, futurologist. He looks like a mad old granddad there, but actually this guy was died recently and was a very significant guy, really. He's got all sorts of stuff right when you look back. He's got some crazy stuff as well, which are yet to come. But first man on the moon, him and Patrick Moore, who were best mates. Patrick Moore got it out by 10 years. Patrick Moore said he was going to be 1980 when we stood on the moon. This is sort of going back in the sort of 50s, just after the war. He said 1970. He did pretty well there, didn't he? Who believes we actually stood on the moon? This is truly the era of the conspiracy, isn't it? That's about half the room. There's all sorts, if you look at those pictures on the internet, the flags are doing the wrong thing and... Fantastic. Other things he got right: cloning of human beings, artificial intelligence, communication satellites, space defence systems. Our defence system, the world's defence system against a meteorite killing us all, is actually named after one of the books which he wrote in the 50s, which actually said we're going to have this sort of defence system to protect against aliens and comets and all that sort of stuff. The other 2 things that he got were both the internet and the web. He foresaw a network of computers that would span the world, technology that was so cheap that it was virtually throwaway. What he also did was he didn't call it the web, but he called it the global village. So he actually foresaw us connecting together via this thing called the internet. So this guy's got quite a lot right. So I've named a little bit of stuff after him tonight. One of his laws was any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And what I'm going to sort of say to you tonight is the web is going to move on massively. It might feel flat at this point, but it's going to move on very, very quickly. And this phase that it's going to reach quite quickly, I called the magic web. It's as technical as that. So bear with me, but hopefully it'll make some sense. Okay, growth stages of the web. This is not that technical, but this is purely my sort of thoughts on it. You could call this Web 1, don't all cringe at this point. But really, the first era of the web was about information, connecting with information and pictures, really. Didn't do too much more than that. Nice, simple websites, basic information on them. Academics using it to publish papers and collaborate with each other. But it was really about information. The second era of the web is really the one that we're in now. It's the kind of Facebook era. Now, what's happening to Facebook's numbers? Sort of plateaued.
Even decreasing, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. The truth is, the sort of social side of the web is way, way beyond just Facebook as a product, and we'll see that in a minute, really. But the second era is about connecting with people. We've gone beyond this. We're currently in this. So this is where we are at this point. Where are we going then? Semantic web. I'm going to leave the word semantic for a conversation over dinner, really, other than to say semantic web is about making information totally transparent and available to everyone, so that various products, various websites can kind of take different information and combine it. It's about a completely new amount of information and a web working on a much more, hugely more connected and comprehensive way. We'll come on to that. But really, this sort of semantic web, you're going to see this word more and more, I think. I think it's only inevitable that marketeers are going to borrow the word semantic like they did kind of Web 2 and then turn it into a fashion. So we'll see what happens to the word semantic web. I think we're entering this now. We're starting to see that. Who's got a CSS website here? Fully CSS, where you've used cascading style sheets to control the layout and the content's separate. You're part of this movement into the semantic web. Who's got a tables and cells website? Yeah, okay. You're sort of part of this era. Not that it's a bad thing. So there are different ways. It's still a valid way of designing websites, but some of you are preparing for this kind of semantic web thing now. The fourth era really is this sort of thing that I've called the magic web. The truth is we don't know where it's going, other than all the sort of pointers are towards the web being used way more intelligently, and the semantic opening up of all the information, being able to use computers that can sort of think really and figure out things for us. So it's a much more kind of intelligent use of the web. And we'll come on to that. Okay, some people disagree with me on this subject, but I think Google is now in decline. I think we're already into the next phase of the web. Why? Because since 2006, Google has plateaued and actually started to reduce in its traffic. Yet the web, on almost every metric, in terms of bandwidth, in terms of users on there, the ways that we're accessing it, the number of websites on there, the amount of time we're looking at those websites, every metric is on the up still for the web. It might not be flying in the UK and in Europe, but it's still on the up. Worldwide, it's massively on the up, yet Google has flattened out. So in effect, Google is now in decline. It is now not accelerating in its searches at the same rate that the web is growing. Does that come as a surprise to anyone? Does anyone care? You should do. This is a massive change that I think is underway at the moment. Okay, a cliched exponential curve for the combination of social networking sites. Not just, yes, if we looked at Facebook, it would be leveling off here, but a combination of the social networking products that are out there is in a cliched exponential growth curve. At the same time, Google is flat. Is that telling you anything about the new era that we're in the web?
Lots of others are all.
Say again?
Lots of the other ones are growing in popularity and people are moving away from Facebook, so they're going to Bebo and MySpace and
yeah, they're sort
creating their own
churning to others. Yes. So yeah, the Facebook kind of headline, oh, it's flattened out, that thing's finished, actually doesn't really tell the full picture about the web. Okay, so hopefully I've got your interest that we're heading in the right direction. Who is that?
Sir.
Who is it? Who is it? You're not having another.
I'm not having another. He's right.
Where was that? Was there somebody at the back? So I nearly hit Chris in the face then. Okay. Tim Berners-Lee, credited with inventing not the internet but the web.
Yeah.
Yeah? This is one of his quotes. Google may well be displaced as the preeminent brand on the internet by a company that harnesses the power of next generation web technology. What is that technology? It's the semantic web, really. It has a very effective way of searching for pages on the internet, but pales into insignificance compared to the opportunity offered by the semantic web. Basically what this guy is saying is that once we get the semantic web, which is not going to come overnight, actually will we even need a Google? Will Google's model suit anymore? This is quite a kind of radical change. So this guy's saying there's a new era of the web coming that is not about what Google's like at the moment.
He's been warning against it now, hasn't he?
Say again?
He's been warning against it recently, hasn't he? He's come out and said that people need to be quite careful. Of being too open on the web.
Exposing your identity.
And everything. He has actually come out and said it is a bit worrying, just be very careful.
Yeah, there's a big sort of movement. There's this thing called lock-in. At the moment, when you put information into a social networking site or into any site, they basically sort of own your data. And there's a big sort of discussion now going on about actually who owns the data that you create and put on the web. And what they're saying is that all the big sort of social networking and sharing sites are going to agree a process where they don't lock your data in. As you leave it, you pull everything of yours with it back out of the product. But yeah, it's a big issue at the moment. Yeah, sort of MPs who have done daft things on YouTube have sort of come home to roost and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, there's some big issues around that, I think.